next week.
Have you heard of Pattaya?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is nice. I'm on the opposite. I'm on the west coast over near the Burmese border. We're in a village called Koper, which is near, the nearest town is Ranong. So about, a day's drive down from Bangkok. So very cool. You're in a gorgeous part of the world.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for having me on the call, Sanj. I really appreciate your time.
No worries. No. So,
quite blessed.
Well, we're happy to have you here too. So, and one of the big things and one of the reasons why, and I told these guys why I started this program was to help these guys connect with other epic people. And the thing is, being in high school, you're such a small little group of people that you have an opportunity to meet and hang out with. And often you don't quite fit in, or you've got bigger ideas that a lot of people don't realize. So one of the big things for this program is to connect these guys together so they can start working together and have others that understand.
Mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind. So one of the big things we're going to talk about tonight is connection, Jen. So look, for me, I find you as being what I would call a master connector. And I know it's not necessarily something that's just natural. You weren't born that way anyway, but you've developed skills, you've done a lot of training. But what are some of the things that you found that has helped you become a master connector? Like guys, I've seen Jen go up and speak to 16-year-old boys, bang, and have so much in common. The same with 70-year-old women. There's so many different ranges of people that even Jen calls some of her closest friends. Like if you line Jen's 10 closest friends up, you'd be just like, whoa, it's such a diverse group of people. So Jen, how do you do it? Like how are you such a great connector with people?
So the things you guys have got to know first is that I'm actually ridiculously shy, which a lot of people don't realize. They think that I'm this kind of loud, out there extrovert. I'm not. I'm an absolute introvert. And the thing is, okay, so and I was the oh my God, the school dork at school. I was so bad, like so bad. Embarrassing. It really was. But I just through life I've always been a dreamer, and I think if they'd given the whole ADD tag and things like that to kids in my generation, because I'm 55 now, I'm a lot older than you guys. But if they'd done that kind of stuff, I probably would have had it. So I always had this kind of dreamy mind that I wanted to do stuff. And I was raised to be like a really cool, independent kind of kid and that was a strength that gave me, I was kind of raised to do that. We'll just have a go kind of attitude. Does that make sense? And not be the perfectionist in my early kind of days. And so as I started growing up in my 20s and stuff, I realized if I wanted to do what I wanted to do in the world, I couldn't be the shy kid. And I just was really stupidly awkward, like really awkward. And I learned something only in the last 5 or 6 years by one of my mentors. And he said, when you meet anyone, treat them like they're your absolute best friend, right from as soon as you meet them. And I've lived that. And that's made it all so much more comfortable the last probably 6 years. And it's crazy. So I meet people now, like I sat on an airplane next to this bloke, an 80-year-old guy, 2 nights ago, flying back from Sydney, and we were in the loudest hysterics within minutes. And it was like, it was just crazy. And it was like we'd been best friends for forever. And the difference is most people come in to everything guarded. So they've got a bit of a wall up around them. And so they give out a little piece and they expect a piece back and that. But, what if you just kind of went face first when you meet someone and just went, you know what? Because this was what my mentor said to me. He said, how do best friends start? Well, best friends start that someone says hi, someone says hello, and then you just gradually get to know each other. And in most situations, it will take months and years to build to that depth of a relationship. I allow myself to drop into that heart space straight away. And it's a bit of a hippie woo-woo sounding thing, but it's the truth. That's it. I just go, because I don't know who's going to be my next best friend in the world. And I do. My friends, my closest friends are I go surfing with 20-year-old guys, and I've got people in their 80s and stuff who are all just as equally as close. So It's just from the awkward, shy kid, introvert, I promise. The biggest lesson I probably learned has been to just treat everyone like they're my best friend right from the start. And it's a little bit scary at first and it's messy at first, but it's so different. It's worth it. It really is worth it. Sorry, long answer for
no,
that.
No, absolutely. I love it. And it's such an important thing. Yeah, and thumbs up. So the guys are loving it, and I can see some notes being taken, which is fantastic. And cool. Especially, I mean, most of these guys are at high school or early years of university, so they're going through that stage where they're meeting a lot of people, it's getting out in the workforce. So it's so important. And I know it's something that I've really myself learned off you, Jen, in the last year or so as well. And I definitely was the awkward one in high school too. I think if you you're like, yep. And sort of always struggled to make friends, but you're right. Once you drop in that heart space and just kind of just open yourself up and be an open book, it gives them the permission to do the same. And that's where it can be really powerful.
Yeah, totally. I really agree.
That's it. So, so coming from that, so next little thing we'll get to is with that, Jen, did you sort of like kind of consciously make that decision that you were like, okay, I'm just going to talk to strangers or talk to anyone, or was it something that just happened naturally? Or did you have to go, all right, I'm gonna learn this. I'm going to have to work at it. What was that point where you kind of just went, all right, this is how Jen is now?
It was a conscious stretch. So I had, imagine I did all my years in clinic as a naturopath. And in a naturopathic situation, you're like just one-on-one kind of things with people. And I just thought, you know what, I got really frustrated that I wanted to be able to help the masses with their health, and realized after 10 years in clinic that I couldn't. I was always going to be restricted by how many people I could physically see a week. And I thought, how do I meet more people and help more people? And I thought, wow, well, I could speak at conferences where there's thousands of people there at a time, knowing that I was terrified to speak. And I just thought, wow, how do you do that? And I thought, wow, well, you should write a book. How do you do that? Excuse me. Sorry. And it was like, I don't know. And I was terrified because I failed English at school, guys. I left school at 15. I failed high school. I did. And I've written 12 books and I'm working on my 13th at the moment. And they've been published in Chinese and Korean, and I speak all around the world, and I failed high school. So don't let anyone ever tell you, you're not going to be able to do something. But I remember it was a conscious decision, Sanj, and I literally, and one of my mentors says to me, we all have a range that we can live in from 0 to 10. But most people play in their safety zone, which is like number 4 to number 6, and they live in this piece of life. So I've got all that out there, going in consciously, meeting people and all that kind of stuff. It is way out of my comfort zone. And then down the other end, even equally, me, allowing myself to settle inside was equally as scary. But I remember sitting in clinic thinking, if I really want to do what I want to do, and for me, I want to leave the world a better place. And I'm so called to do that, and have been since I was about 26, 27, where that that started to come through for me. I remember thinking, I can't do it sitting in clinic. And I thought, I have to play a bigger game. So I had no idea how to be a professional speaker. I had no idea how to write. I had no idea how to do any of that. But I was so called, I chose to get really outside my comfort zone and to do it. And so I did. So how do you do it? You literally have no plan B. I sold my clinic. So I had to make it work. And it was a conscious decision. And it really was, I think, in my first speaking gig and even just putting myself out there to pitch to be for a speaking gig was so scary. And what I've learned over the years is that I am the introvert. However, I am now comfortably uncomfortable it's meeting people. And I actually learned when I was 17, I joined the army, and I learned in the army that discipline just meant doing the opposite of what you felt like doing. So imagine when I'm sitting and I'm thinking, and I do it, I still, nowadays, it's a conscious decision I have to make. I'll be somewhere and I'm thinking, I just want to stay in my hotel room. I just want to stay in my hotel room. I just want to stay in my hotel room. And I think, Jen, that's not going to help you leave the world a better place. And I then make myself go out and meet people. It's still a conscious discipline nowadays. And all I've done is become more comfortable at being uncomfortable. That's all it is. It doesn't get easier. It just gets a bit more comfortable, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry, guys, I do have to blow my nose. I don't want to sneeze on you.
You do it.
So
That's all right. I love that. Yeah, just getting comfortable in being more uncomfortable. That's such a cool way to put it. And even I haven't heard it put that way. So that was really, really cool, rather than like, oh, it's just natural now. No, it's just getting comfortable.
Not natural.
That's really, really cool. And it's great to know that, because I mean, I'm sure we all here have friends that are just naturally can just talk to anyone and very charismatic and just it flows. And you're like, oh, well, I can't do that. So Jen, it's really powerful to hear from you who, as you said, you're introverted. It is, it is challenging, but your vision for what you want to create is stronger than that desire to be comfortable. So that's really, really powerful. I really love that. So Jen, like you do some really cool things in your life. Like your life is seriously pretty cool. You've got your charity. You travel all around the world. You've been to I don't know how many places and cities. You've seen some amazing sites. And I know in your health business you hit millionaire earlier in the year, and so which means you impacted a massive amount of people. So how does all the good stuff happen to you, Jen? Like there's people, how does it happen? Like I know there's some strategies that you use and practices that you use to help create that abundance in your life. So like let us in on the secrets. These guys have got to know this stuff.
The first thing is that I live with deep gratitude. The universe is not going to give me anything more until I'm grateful for what I've got, and that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I start my morning with gratitudes, and I end my day with gratitudes. So I've tried so hard to keep gratitude journals, and I've had pretty ones, and I love the whole, I think it was you, Carrie, saying how you were decorating things. No.
Wayman, yeah.
Wayman. I thought, I've tried all that stuff. And guess what? This kid who failed English can't work that stuff out. Really can't. So I've worked for me. It's a discipline for me just to verbalize them. That's it.
So how many would you generally do, Jen, in the morning or the evening?
Yeah, it's generally a minimum of 10, morning and night.
Yeah.
And the deal is I'm not allowed to, this is my agreement with myself, I'm not allowed to do gratitudes for things like that I can buy. Like I'm grateful I've got my iPhone. It can't be that stuff. I'm grateful I've got my house. It can't be that. It can be for experiences or people and so mostly experiences, all that kind of stuff. So gratitude's really huge. That's a thing for me. Also, on a day-to-day kind of basis, just I live in a rose-colored world. I live in such a crazy place of trust, and I had for a long time in my life. So probably over 20 years. But when I walked the Camino Way, it's an 800-kilometer walk from France all the way across Spain, you backpack, and I did it in 26 days. And Sans knows the story, but long story short, I reached a point where my body was so broken, I just couldn't take another step. And my why I was doing it was just so absolute that I had to go on. But it took me to a place where, we've got our comfort zone. I'm sure Sans has talked about it or will in future classes. Like we have our comfort zone, our uncomfortable zone, but then we have our unknown zone. And for me to complete the walk, I lived the rest of that journey after about probably 2 weeks of the journey in the unknown zone. I didn't know if, like, from one step to the next, if I'd be able to walk. And I developed the deepest sense of trust ever. Just trust in the process. So, in the hippie woo-woo kind of world, it's like you put it out there, positive intention, all those kind of things. However, you've still got to take the daily actions to make stuff work. So I can't just say, oh, I'm going to be the world's best international speaker and not, market myself and do the work for me to get the work. So I have total, and I mean total belief and trust for the dream, whatever it is I want to achieve. At the same time, I do the work to take the actions to make it happen. And so a living example kind of this the other day was I stayed over at friend's place the other night, and they've got two little boys, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. and just connected with these guys, and they wanted to play Trouble, the game you pop the dice. And the 6-year-old, we're playing this game, and I just live in this world where I deserve to get 6s all the time, because you can't get your men out of the starting blocks until you get a 6. And I got like 4, 5 6s in a row, and he started getting really bent out of shape. As he's a 6-year-old going, I never get these 6s. And he just went off his tip. It's like, really went off. And I went, and you won't while you think like that. And that's it. Our thoughts create our feelings create our actions create our results. That's it. And I have such belief and trust in energy. We are energetic beings, that everything we do, what we put out, is what we're going to attract. We attract back. We don't always get it in exactly the way we expect. However, you've got to put it out there with no hook. And it might sound a bit hippie woo-woo, but I promise with all my heart, it's a serious science. So with him, I was thrashing this little guy because I'm just getting 6s and 6s and 6s and 6s. And then I went, let's just play a game. Let's just play that you're going to click it and go, I'm going to get a 6. I'm going to get a 6. I'm going to get a 6. And he beat me, the little bugger. He did. He beat me. And it was so, but that turned him like in a second. And it's a practice. And it's so easy for all of us to default back to negative language, negative self-talk. It's a human thing that we default back to that. And I really consciously bring myself back to that rose-colored world endlessly. And, whether I'm naive or whatever, I don't care. I live an extraordinary life because I expect to live an extraordinary life. That's it. And then I take the actions to make sure I manifest it. That's it. Does that make sense, Sanj?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm playing against you, I'm going to make sure I'm manifesting that stuff for sure. All right. Which is really cool. Rather than last time we played cards and I just knocked my cup of coffee over all the cards and that ended the game.
You did. You did. That was only because I won the game. I smashed everyone that night. I won the game big time, and then she killed the game in a second.
Hey, universe was saying it was
still had fun. Yeah.
Awesome. So Jen, as we touched on earlier, like you've got your own charity, you've got a big impact with health in the world. It's in the world's in a bad place, and you want to help a lot of people. So what does impact really mean to you? So when you say you want to, we hear, you want to leave a legacy, you want to make a big impact, you want to have, and I know the guys on the call here all have their own callings and things that they want to do to leave this place better than when they came. So what does it really mean to you? And does that kind of drive you to keep working? Because I know you don't have to really work much. You can holiday around, you've got money coming in, you've set up your businesses really well. So why do you work? Why do you do that? And how is that tied to that impact?
I think that's it. And it's almost like, and look, I holiday about 6 months a year and work about 6 months a year, guys. I've created my work so that I can travel around the world and do it at the same time. So I've created, again, the rose-colored world life that I want. And that was a conscious decision. How do I do the love of my life, which is to travel and get paid at the same time? So I created that, not knowing how, but it evolved over time. Again, I just trusted and took the action. But you're right. I don't have to, but again, I'm called. Like when you really, and it took me years to work out kind of what it was. I always knew I wanted to leave the world a better place, but I didn't understand how it would manifest. But I was talking to a friend this morning, and the ripples. I gave a really quick story. So we've got a fundraiser for our charity on Saturday night, and I was sitting just recording a couple of the simple things about how, when we started this, we had no concept of how big the ripples would be. And this might sound tiny, but you don't know. Declan, you might get it because you live in Thailand, but the impact's huge. So we started our charity, started the charity because I tried to adopt a young boy who I ran into when I was in, like, not literally with a car or anything. When I was, just to clarify that, when I I was in Thailand on holidays and met a young boy. He was a 9-year-old and his parents died of AIDS. The area of Thailand where he lives is just, AIDS is rife. Tried to adopt him and wasn't allowed by the Australian and the Thai government because I'm gay. So that was just that. Anyway, so I chose to still support him. And then when I came home from walking the Camino, I went, you know what, I'm just going to really do this now. So we've now got 62 children within a 140-kilometre radius in this area of Thailand where we feed them, clothe them, school them, put them in Boy Scouts so they get a bit of fun in their life. Just, it's so cool. So anyway, so the majority of them are, they well and truly would not be in school if not for us. They're just too desperately poor in this little farming community where we are. So we've done things like, you know, most of them never had a bed. They range from 5 to 17 years old, and most of them never had a bed. They slept on a coconut fibre mat or even a sheet of plastic in some of their cases on a cement or dirt floor until we bought them all beds at Christmas. We bought them push bikes in April so that we could get them to school. So when we bought them push bikes, our own intention was just get these kids to get to school easily. Bought them all a push bike, gave them all in April. And the main area where they run, there's 2 soys. So a soy is a street, left soy, right soy. And right at the far end of left soy, there's these 2 sisters, Bung and Beer, and 12, 13-year-old girls. And they'd never met On, who's a little girl on the end of right soy, until the day that we gave them all push bikes. And these kids met for the first time back in April. And because we gave them I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I'm not going to cry. But because we gave them push bikes, all of a sudden, Bung and Beer ride over to On's place, which is it's a good 10K ride, and do sleepovers. They'd never gone to a friend's place to have a sleepover. That's precious. Not only that, now they're all teaching each other to cook and stuff. They've started this little collective of the girls, young teenage girls, who are they want to create their own version of a master chef. I cry. We bought them push bikes to get them to school. To me, that's impact. It's huge. It's huge. The ripples of the stuff that everything we do in life creates a ripple in this universe. You walk down the street and choose to smile or not smile at a person will create an impact on their life. Huge. You have no idea what's going on in someone's life. And you choosing to be stuck in your own small little world and playing small could be the deal breaker on someone's life. You walking down the street and just consciously smiling at people and looking them in the eye could be the difference between someone having the worst day of their life, or even, I know of cases, taking their life because someone just showed some love and care. Every single thing we do of every single day has an impact on this planet. And you just don't get at the moment in time what the ripples will be from that impact. But it's huge. And when you get that kind of shit, and look, I'm 55. It's taken me a lifetime of learning to get to this point. But when you get that, your life will never be the same. And it's to live conscious. The majority of people don't live consciously on this planet. And that's why they don't have the impact that they can. They are having an impact. They're not creating the really cool impacts that they can have. Sorry, Sandra, I feel a wee bit emotional. But it's true.
We're there. It's real. And one of the things that we spoke about this week was perfect is vulnerability. And I think, being vulnerable and being emotional and attached to that, there's such a powerful message there. And I can tell we all feel more connected to your cause now just from you sharing that so deeply rather than just a little, surface story. And that's impact, because from that story you just shared, someone here we can all see it. It's whoa, that can have a ripple effect amongst us 6 people that are on this call as well. And who knows what it is from you sharing from your heart space, then what's going to create for these guys. and what ripple that's going to have.
Yeah.
So that's really, really cool. Really, really cool. So it's like, whoa. And loving the little, I'm following the comments in the chat there, guys, and loving what you guys are putting in there too. So that's super cool. So I've just got one more question, Jen, and then we might just open up for a bit of Q&A. Because I know you had a crazy day.
Remind me, can I throw something in to comment on what someone else said before too?
100%.
Remind me at the end.
Yep.
I really do, because it's another energy thing that I think will give you guys some clarity. Yeah.
Perfect. I'd love that.
Your question first.
My last little question is, you do so many different things with your work and with your time, and just as these guys do, they've got their school, they've got their sports, they're running for junior councils and politics, and they're traveling, they're doing a lot of stuff. What's a couple of tips you can maybe give these guys to be able to manage their time and their energy? Maybe it's more of an energy than a time, to be able to be productive rather than just busy. We kind of crushed the myth of being busy last week. So how can they best use their time so that they're getting everything done, but still, as you said, having that time to fill themselves up as well?
Well, a couple of things. One, definitely, I got rid of the word busy and changed it to productive. That's a big one. So energetically, that has a totally different impact on your day. So don't be busy, just be productive. I have had a stupidly productive day today, I have to share. It's really been a big day, but a cool day. And I do. I run my companies, and I have my charity, and everything with it. And health and well-being with you is one of the most important things. So I have not negotiables in my life, or non-negotiables, whatever you want to call it. And my health is one of them. So one of the things today has just been back to back to back. And yet I still would not cancel my massage I had this afternoon at 4:30. So I schedule things in for my wellness. So whether it's to go for a walk or a surf with Sanj, if the weather and the waves are right. But I put stuff in and that kind of stuff has to go into the diary first. Because if you don't look after yourself, and that's the thing, I got into natural therapies because I burned myself out in my 20s. And it's not worth it, guys. It's really not. So I was super productive, but never used to look after my health in my younger days, in my early 20s, and I paid the price. And the thing I'm most respectful about my health is sleep. And it's so tempting to power on into the night, but to really let your body recharge properly, you want to be in bed by 10 p.m. So I'm in bed by 10 p.m. I'm up at 5 o'clock every single morning, and the difference is you'll allow your body to recharge properly. And then I'm a big fan of herbal medicine and all that kind of stuff. But on a daily kind of discipline, you want to really make sure that you respect your sleep. I wish I'd learned that way before I burned out. So that's important. And then schedule things into the diary. Schedule your, something that's fun every day. Even if it's a 5-minute brain fart of fun, you've got to have that stuff to be able to keep you on track. Because if it's just work, even though I love my work. Like, I can't tell you how much I love my work. However, it's like our brain still needs to have a bit of an escape as well. So whatever it is for you, that is your thing, and be present. So even like I've got 2 cats, and if they need cuddle time, I haven't got time to sit and cuddle and play with them for an hour, but when I'm with them, I'm with them. And I'll give them the attention that they need. So be really present. Look after yourself first. That's the biggest thing. And the rest of it, you'll just prioritize. I have a note here that's stuck on my computer, and it says urgent versus important. Mm-hmm. So everything I do, I ask myself, is it urgent or is it important? I grew up in the old days where we used to write letters and have telephones that we didn't carry with ourselves all the time. And we used to write letters, and we'd say ASAP, as soon as possible, not now. Okay? This instant world sucks, and it's not cool because people are living in reactive mode. They're not responding positively. So I have that. It's there. It's in that Post-it note has been there for years. And every time it gets faded and like it's getting pretty tacky now, I replace it, and I've had those words in front of me for years. I ask myself, is it urgent or is it important? And I can just prioritize my day. I wrote in one of my books that people only procrastinate against the stuff that they don't want to do. If it's something they want to do, they magically find the time. So we all have stuff in life that we don't want to do. And I have my list, in my diary every day of things that I need to achieve. And then I'll knock off the top 3 hardest ones first. Because once I've done the top 3 hardest ones, the rest of the day is easy. Mm-hmm. I choose an easy life. So I just do that hard stuff first. And by the time, because otherwise if you procrastinate on it through the day and you think I'll do it later, and you do the fun stuff first, by the energy that is sucked out of you and the physical nasty changes you make to your body through the stress of not achieving or, knocking those things off your list, it's taxing your health in a huge way. So you want to really be doing that stuff first. And again, I learned all that kind of stuff just by burning out myself. So is that done? Did I answer that? Sorry. But
yeah. Don't be sorry at all. There's 4 or 5 amazing strategies in there that I don't think even just nailing one of those. And I'd love the just looking after you first is, if you guys just do that, like you'll notice some big changes with all of those things. So that's really cool. So Jen, I'll allow you to go on to answer that question or
really quick
that you want to, and then we'll open up for 5 or 6 minutes of questioning from you guys. Okay. So once Jen's shared, then you just unmute yourself, chuck your hand up, and we can ask a few questions.
Okay, so really, really quick, and I forget who was, but someone said about making decisions. Okay, so decisions versus choices.
Yeah.
So people.
That was me.
Yeah. Was it okay? So decisions really tax your brain in a big way, and really short version of this because I wanted to get time for your other questions and answers. But decision energetically. And the word decide, the end part, like the side part, means to kind of kill off. And, like suicide, herbicide, homicide, all the sides, decide. So when you're doing that energetically, your body's going, I just can't decide what to do. And people go into overwhelm because it's like their brain's just going, there is only one option. You have to kind of kill off the other one. Whereas if you just make choices in life, you're just making a choice. What I'm going to choose. It's got a total different energy about it. And we find that people don't go into overwhelm. So like we said, get rid of the word busy and change it to productive. Stop making decisions in your life and just make choices. It'll help you to move forward more fluidly. That was a huge one for me to learn. Words are energy. Look, this kid who failed English gets the power of words, I promise. It's huge. Yeah. So there you go. I hope that helps. I just wanted to really share that.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, so what can I answer for you guys? Nothing. Okay, I'm going now. Bye.
I have a question.
Excellent. What do you got, man?
So what happens when you burnt out?
Oh, okay. So really simple. There's a part of your body called your adrenal glands. They're little glands where you produce adrenaline. Adrenaline, the energy kind of hormone, and it's also where you produce your boy and girl hormones. So testosterone and estrogen and all those kind of things, and we all have all of those things. And there's a hormone called cortisol that's also produced in the same area, and it's a stress hormone that helps our body deal with energy. But when you use too much stress energy, your body's not able to adapt and deal with the stress anymore. That's kind of the easy way to put it. And so actually, even physically, your adrenal glands get bigger they go through 3 stages, and they get to the stage that they just can't produce any more hormone to be able to deal with you not dealing with stress properly. And so you literally just exhausted, burned out. You can't do anything. It's like physically and emotionally wrecked. But that was how and nowadays it's a total blessing because it's how my body, it's how I've got the career I've got. So I do a lot of work teaching up in Asia, and up there they pay the doctors to keep them well. If you get sick, you don't pay. So the biggest thing I've learned for the last nearly 30 years is that I live from a place of prevention. That's why I'm so respectful of my health. Okay? I don't wait to get tired and cranky. I don't wait to get sick. I don't wait to get grabby. I don't wait to be moody. I look after my body so that those things don't happen. I wish I'd learned that. I wish that's my big thing I teach, how to teach people how to live from a place of prevention. Okay, then you're not waiting. It takes more energy to fix something once it's broken instead of just doing little things through the day. I know it's worth me having my massage, my acupuncture a week. I know it's worth the discipline of six nights a week. Like we've got a play night with this fundraiser on Saturday night. Trust me, I know I won't be in bed by 10 o'clock. But 6 nights a week, I am. It's not negotiable to me. Does that make sense? You can research it, adrenal glands. It's it's interesting stuff.
Were you in the clinic when you burnt out?
No, I was actually working in the pharmacy industry. So I really quick story. I joined the army when I was 17. I was a driver instructor in the army, and again, being gay in the army was not allowed back in the 70s, and that killed my career in the army. And I got out of the army and I went into the pharmacy industry and management. So I was managing a chain of pharmacies, and it was back in the 80s where everyone, the whole, I don't know, you don't know those movies, but anyway, it was a time that you worked really, really hard in very not good energy, greedy kind of ways. And I physically and emotionally burned out my body. But when I did hit that wall, literally, I went back to school and studied to be a naturopath, because the doctors said to me, look, you're going to be crook for 12 months or so. We can't do anything for you. Take all these drugs. And I went, I used to sell these drugs. I know what they do. I'm not taking them. So I went back to school and studied to be a naturopath and fixed myself naturally. And if you told me as a 17-year-old kid in the army that I would have the life I've got today, never would have believed you. Ever.
What's a naturopath?
A naturopath's a natural doctor. With a plane going over sand. James lives in the flight path, which I love. She lives in an amazing part of the world where we go.
Really?
Yeah, she does. She lives near Currumbin, but it's in the flight path of Coolangatta Airport. You go to a GP. Imagine a naturopath is a natural GP. We prescribe herbs and nutritionals instead of drugs. That's it. Yeah.
Saj, how do you
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
So,
There
Beth,
you go.
yeah, go for it, Beth. Declan's got 3 questions.
So-
One is good value.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm looking to apply for medicine and join, and I want to be a doctor, but the kind of doctor I want to be is a prevention doctor, preventing lifestyle diseases like heart attacks,
Don't be a
diabetes,
doctor.
that kind of.
Yeah, don't be a doctor. You want to be a naturopath.
So I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you've had backlash from the medical community. How do you deal with that?
I didn't give up. Totally. And you think, it's nearly 30 years ago that I graduated. This was really considered witchcrafty things back in those days, but I didn't care. I was just solid on my belief that I knew I could help people, and that was it. I didn't give up. And you don't have to be a natural doctor, but there are medicos out there who, and there's more medicos now starting to come forward and get the idea of preventative medicine, where it's just a natural thing. That's just the way naturopaths think. My medical kind of world, that's just the way we naturally think. So I saw someone put a post on Facebook tonight about how all this new research about how imbalances in gut bacteria is linked to mental illness. And I just wrote, year 1 naturopathy, which it is. Year 1. Oh, clever research. Well, sorry, but we learned that in our very first year. That's why we want to restore gut chemistry and stuff. So, I love, we have a place for both. If someone's got a broken leg or is having a heart attack, we need a doctor. But I think the world of preventative medicine is a whole nother game, and I feel very blessed that I've been able to work in this profession for a long time. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all right, my pleasure. And go for it. Be a cool doctor. That's awesome.
I have a question about what you were saying about prevention and everything. So I sort of did I wouldn't say amazing research, but I, type in Google and see what comes up and everything on when I went vegan, about how, I guess, meat and dairy and stuff affects you because of all the extra hormones added into it. I guess, what's your opinion on it?
Great question. I'm actually vegetarian myself.
Yeah.
So I don't. Okay, so the dairy, and I don't eat meat for my spiritual reasons. Okay, so not for the health, but the people say not to have dairy as a naturopath. Most people who are, you're seeing all the gluten intolerances nowadays and the dairy intolerances and all those kind of things, it's just an imbalance in gut chemistry. It's one of the easiest things for us to fix.
Yeah.
So for me, from a therapeutic point of view, I don't see anything wrong with it. If you're wrong with it, if you're, spiritual, all those kind of beliefs that you don't want to have an animal product, well, that's cool. But yeah, majority of people, and I really mean like 99.9% of people, and particularly people who are lactose intolerant and all that kind of stuff, once we restore their gut chemistry, they thrive.
Yeah.
The same with gluten. People are just, their guts out of balance nowadays.
Mm.
Yeah, and I agree. If you're going to have lactose, if you're going to have, I have dairy every day in the way of nutrition shakes, but they come from no hormones, no antibiotics, grass-fed, happy cows. That's huge. Yeah, it's got to be the right source without a doubt.
Mm.
And I was actually having a quick chat with a friend who's staying here tonight, saying how one of my friends, she's a New Zealander and she's a food scientist, and she ran studies years ago with like lambs. And this is, you're a vegan and I apologize, however this is true, which is all why you're vegan maybe, but it's like they would check the blood chemistry on a lamb, just even in the, out in the paddock, and then check the blood chemistry when it's been shipped to an abattoir, for instance. And even it's not even like near the gates of going to go through, and yet their blood chemistry, the animal is already, the fear, they feel it, changes the chemistry of the animal and that. So in my books, I've always written, if I was going to eat red meat, I was a fan of kangaroo. And the reason is they're a wild-crafted animal. There's no stress being farmed and all that kind of stuff. So, look, there's so much to it. And everyone's got to see wherever they sit, kind of philosophically around using animal products or not. But, yeah, it's an interesting discussion. But for me, therapeutically, if your gut's right, if your gut is balanced, all that kind of stuff just will digest really happily. Yeah. Just want to diet as close to nature as possible. Declan?
How do you fix an imbalance in the gut chemistry?
Oh, we do not have time for that. But it's enzymes and all that kind of stuff. But just kind of share with you guys that stress will dampen gut chemistry really quickly. You guys have got to manage your health, okay? You can't make stress go away. You've got to get your body to deal with it. Yeah.
And Declan, we'll put some links in for you to be able to check out a lot of Jen's work. She's got a lot of videos on YouTube and things like that you'll be able to check out. So rather than doubling up now, you guys can go and check out all that.
Yeah, go and Dr. Google Jen.
You'll
find my stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Ezra, that's in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, Ezra, you good?
Yeah, so I have a question, like, how do you respond to those who does not respect you? Like, for example, like, I'm gay, so in Asia, like, it's not the usual thing, so only my classmate knows, but they doesn't respect me that much since they know it. And so what should I do? Like, should I ignore the haters, or should I make them respect me with love, or should I like show what I can do?
Great question. Well, I've been out being gay since I was 17, so long time, nearly 40 years I've been out as a gay woman. And again, and everything is energy, okay? So what I know is if you worry about them, that will attract more attention, more negative energy. So remember how I said, I expect to throw a 6 all the time. I expect to throw a 6 all the time. I expect to throw a 6 all the time. I expect people to just accept me. And my sense of certainty and comfortableness in myself is what allows me to do it. Now, even when I was in the army, I was out in the army when you were not allowed to be out in the army. However, I gotta think how to put the words properly. My sense of certainty about I knew I was gay, and I chose. It was a conscious choice, and especially in the 70s, to not hide that was huge. And really, seriously, if people like me had hid it back in those days, guys like you coming out in school was not going to happen like it can nowadays. So what I do is I believe that everyone's just going to accept me, and that's through me accepting myself first. Okay. and me feeling good about me. So do that. And then the next thing is just the best way. Mother Teresa said it best. You know, you'll never beat like hate with more hate. You've just got to love on everyone and just get that they just don't know. And you get a choice. If you respond to them negatively, that's going to fire them, and they're going to keep baiting you because they know they'll get a reaction. Whereas if you just, I have the conversation to I don't attract it nowadays. Well, I do actually. I got one on Facebook the other day because I did a post. I got one the other day, a lady, and I deleted her. I just thought, I don't like you. And I deleted her. Pretty simple. She was, I commented about, because the gay marriage thing is up for debate in Australia at the moment. And I just put a post up about it, and she just wrote, you know, something that wasn't real nice. And I just chose, well, block you. Simple. I just choose not to take that conversation into my brain. That's it. You're in control. You get to choose who you play with. So hating on them won't help. It really won't. Love on them. Love is the best revenge. Like, really. You want to fix someone? Just love on them. They won't know what to do about it. That's it. So always come back. Always take the higher road. Don't come down to their level and play. They're just They're just uneducated, and it's okay. They don't, they're not on that journey yet. You know, they'll get to where they need to get. You just need to worry about your life. Be good for you. Okay? So if something doesn't sit right with you, hating on someone else back, it's not going to help. Just bless and release them, kind of send love in there. Don't go up to them and go, hey, I love you. Well, you can if you choose. That might attract a different attention. I believe in energy, okay? So if you just be yourself, you know where you are. You have a stunning smile, by the way, Ezra, like stunning. Just be that guy. And guess what? And the other thing I've learned, nothing to do with being gay, is that 50% of people in life will love you and 50% people won't. And I just think, that's part of that part. It's okay. I get to choose to play with the 50% of people in life who will love me. And that's okay too. Does that make sense? But Mother Teresa said it best, like, you won't solve anything with putting hate back. So just send love. Does that, I'm just sorry, that's a bit hippie woo-woo, but that's
good.
That's the old Dykes answer.
All right. So, Wayman, did you have a question? I think everyone else had an opportunity to ask one, so we'll give you one chance, and then we'll let Jen go, so she can get to sleep by 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
I was gonna exactly say what Ezra was gonna say, because I just have to deal with people. My whole every day is dealing with people. But I think for me right now, the really big difficulty that I face is just trying to get people, it's kind of really expressing to people that I need support. Like, how sometimes you live a very sheltered life, and then you can come off as cold, and you can come off as being really strong, even though, you're not necessarily asking. But crafted this image, and people see you as that. And so I've, really always had trouble with having people accept the fact that I'm just like them, and that I have emotion and I have feelings as well, and that there are sometimes I do need support, but I find it hard to really come and tell people that.
Okay, so my appearance of being strong and certain in everything in my life, my independence and like that kind of thing has been my greatest strength, and it's also been my greatest weakness. And probably the greatest weakness is because I never allowed myself to be vulnerable like I'll do nowadays. And I think this is my own kind of thought process around it, is that through life we can either live on the surface, being like a surface dweller, or we can allow ourselves to go deep. So surface dwellers just live in their heads. Deeper is in our hearts. And it's really scary to let our hearts show. But I did a piece called They Have to Feel You to Follow You. And you guys are all leaders in the world, okay? So, Sandy, if you want to flick them to my YouTube channel to find that piece I did with Lisa Nichols last year. Yeah. So, and also flick them to Brené Brown's Vulnerability TED Talk.
Already on the list.
Cool. So, what I've learned is that, and you're running for some kind of council or something like that?
Local council.
Okay, awesome. you want to nail this piece now, okay? Because people, they have to now, and especially now the world is changing, they have to feel you to follow you. And you will find your way to step into that place and allow yourself to feel vulnerability. And all it is to speak from your heart. That's all feeling vulnerable is. To feel that fear and still share what's going in your heart. But they will feel you and what you stand for in this world. Okay? Where otherwise, if you're just giving it, everyone else on the planet, they're all operating just from a headspace. You come from your heart, you'll knock their socks off. So watch a TED talk, watch my, and I do cry, I'm sorry guys, but I've learned to cry as I got older. But those two things could help, I think. Cool? Get out of your head and get into your heart. You're a heart-centered being, we all are. And the greatest leaders of the world get that. People who have the most impact in the world come from their heart, not from their head. And you guys all want to have impact in the world. I wish I knew this shit at your age. I really wish I did. It's taken me a long time to learn it, but I'm so grateful I at least know it. So, yeah, check it out, guys.
Awesome, Jen. And I was saying to these guys even last week, I wish that I'd learned half of this stuff at their age too.
Oh,
so
priceless.
let's wait for the 9:15 flight to go over. Yep, good.
Yeah, that's gone.
So Jen, thank you so much for your time. Like I as well, like super appreciate being able to get you in front of these guys. And I know you are incredibly busy, so it means a lot from me for you to give up your hour of time and for these guys to see you and sort of hear those insights and those learnings that you put into a lifetime that they can get. So I think it's incredibly lucky they get to start forming this at 16, 17, 18 years old, and it's going to be incredibly exciting to see where they go, obviously from the little ripple that you might have created today for these guys.
That's really cool, guys. I'm really excited to get to know you. I really am, and I look forward to watching your progress. I know Sandra will keep me in the loop.
Yeah.
And seriously, if I can be of help with anything, she knows how to find me.
Yeah,
cool.
So guys, I'll link you into obviously the YouTube channels, and Jen's got her fan page on Facebook that you guys can connect with her there. So there's lots of different ways to do that. So guys, let's just unmute. We'll give Jen a bit of love. I'll take a quick screenshot. So giving you a photo warning. So, he's got the heart.
I did that.
Yeah. All right. No, it's okay. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Awesome. Thank you.
Love it, you guys. That's so cool.
Nice. All right. So, guys,
so great to meet you.
Yeah, the recording will go up. I'll pop in our growth work, not our homework. We've thrown that word out of the equation for this week, so that we've got some focuses. So, and thank you so much again, Jen, and to everyone else. All right. Good night, guys.
It's an honor, kid. See you guys. It's an honor. Good night. See you.